Stay away from fancy options when you're buying life insurance. Accidental death. I'm going to get twice as much as if I die by accident. Why, you're twice as dead? You're not double dead. You don't need twice as much as if you die by accident. Your family needs the same amount to eat on if you die walking across the tarmac towards the plane as if you have a heart attack or the plane goes down. It doesn't matter how you die, your family has the exact same need, don't they? In that situation. So you don't need double. And why do you think it's cheap? Because it usually doesn't happen. Well, at my age, if I die, it'll be by accident. What is this, a prophecy? I mean, you don't think these people that do actuarial tables, that are statisticians at these insurance companies have figured this stuff out and they're charging appropriately? There's a lot of things you can say about insurance companies, but stupid is not on the list. Okay? So if you're paying a premium that seems low to you, it's because it's very unlikely to happen. That's what it comes down to. So stay away from stuff like accidental death or on any insurance. This is popping up a lot, even on long-term care insurance. The return of premium. If you don't use the policy, by the end of the policy, we'll give you all your premiums back if you just pay us a little bit more every month. That's the return of premium feature. Have you heard of that? Say yes. Yes. Okay. So what you do is you take a little bit more a month, you put that in your financial calculator, and you say, all those years later, when I would have gotten it back, how much would be in a mutual fund? Oh, way more than enough to return me my premium. That's how this works. And I get it back if I do it myself, called savings, whether or not I use the policy. I'll just self-insure through that little monster. So return of premium is a rip. Stay away from it. Do not buy return of premium. You're not going, take the extra you would have paid to get the return of premium gimmick, put that in a savings account or in an investment, and you'll have more later anyway. Waiver of premium pays your premium for you if you become disabled. If you become disabled, you should have baby step 3 in place, which is what? 3 to 6 months, plus you ought to have long-term disability insurance in place. So your family's going to be fine, and you should be able to continue your premiums without any trouble at all, because, by the way, they were only $10. Do you remember our example? Term life insurance is just not that expensive. Now, children do not need big life insurance plans. They do not generate an income. Now, if you have some little starlet that goes to Hollywood or something and is making you $1 million, you may want to insure them. But most kids use money. They don't bring money. And so all you need is a little rider on your term policy should, God forbid, something happen to one of them, just enough to cover burial. So $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 riders, and you can usually buy like a $20,000 rider on all your kids, even if you got 5, for about $60 a year as a rider on your policy. So it's not that expensive. Check into it with your particular company. Very, very easy to do. Now, a good rule of thumb is you need to have about 10 times your income on you. And here's why. Dwayne and Brenda, stand up again. Now, with Dwayne and Brenda, if Dwayne made, as an example, $40,000 a year. Now, if we have $400,000 on him and something happens to him, Brenda gets a check for $400,000. Brenda goes to the mutual fund people, sits down, invests the $400,000. If she makes 10% on $400,000, 10% of $400,000 is $40,000. We just replaced you. So don't buy too much. You have to sleep with one eye open. So that's the idea. We're trying to replace his lost income. Now, if she's a mom that works outside the home and she earns $35,000, the same would be true. We'd put $350,000, or maybe she earns $70,000, and we put $700,000 on her. About 10 times, because invested then at 10%, you can replace that income that is lost upon death, and the remaining spouse and kiddos are okay until we've built a big enough nest egg and gotten out of debt and got the mortgage paid off and all that, and we're self-insured later on, and the kids are grown and gone. And that's the idea, okay? So the idea is to replace the lost income. Now, thanks, you guys. Give them a round of applause. They've been good sport. With term insurance being what it is, it's very, very cheap. I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. All right? I run every morning. I'm in really good shape. And the doctor says I have the hair of a 90-year-old. And the heart of a 30-year-old. My aerobics test was just off the scale when I just did it the other day to buy some different life insurance. Do I need life insurance? I mean, we got money. We're doing really well. Everything's paid for. We've got all this stuff. Do I have a need for life insurance? No. But we buy it just because it's cheap and it's SWI. Sharon wants it. Honestly, the woman would rather have another million or two on me than another shiny rock, so it's fine. I mean, it's cheaper than the shiny rock, so we'll buy some more insurance. It's kind of got me scared, though. I hope she doesn't have a plan. Okay, bad ideas in the insurance world are credit, life, and disability. If you go to get a loan or you have a loan and they offered you life insurance that would pay your loan off in the event you die, you paid 90 to 200 times too much for it. You could have bought term insurance for a penny for every dollar that you put on it. Isn't that amazing? I had one guy, we showed him he could buy $100,000 worth of term life insurance for what he was paying for the life insurance on his rototiller. 100 grand. But the rototiller's paid for upon death. This is important. So, you know, that's a finance company ripping him off, isn't it? They make more profit on selling this insurance garbage attached to these loans sometimes than they do on the actual loans themselves. So don't buy credit, life, and disability. And they will act like they have the right to demand you buy it. No, they do not. Now, a lender does have the right under credit disability to require you carry life insurance. They cannot require that you buy it from them. The only exception to that is the auto industry. Now, credit card protection, you know, I'm going to buy insurance on my credit cards. I mean, after all, that Dave Ramsey guy's out there running around. He may just chop them up on the spot. You can't ever tell. He could just show up right there, and then you'd have needed insurance on your credit card. It's just stupid. Okay, you don't need insurance on your credit card. Cut it up. I'd get rid of that. That was an easy idea. Craziness. Cancer and hospital indemnity insurance. Why don't they sell heart attack insurance? Because it's not nearly as scary and yet affects almost as many people as cancer does. As a matter of fact, obesity-related diseases are the #1 killer of Americans, not cancer. But we all know someone's been touched by cancer, and it's such an emotional thing when someone we love has been touched by cancer that when they come to sell the cancer policy, we buy it. And by the way, it's only a couple dollars a month. It's a gimmick. Okay? Last time I checked, your health insurance coverage will cover you if you get cancer, won't it? So why do you need more? It's a gimmick. But we buy it. Oh, it's just a few more dollars out of the paycheck. Who cares? Well, a few more dollars out of your paycheck throughout the scope of your life ends up being a lot of money. Accidental death. We talked about that. You're not double dead. This is gimmick insurance. Any insurance with cash value, investments, or refunds. Refunds like return of premium. Stay away from any of that. That's all bad ideas. Prepaid burial policies. I talked to a guy, called me on the radio the other day, 40 years old. He said, Dave, my mother passed away. It was real emotional. We made stupid decisions at the funeral home, and I don't want my family to have to worry about that. I went ahead and just paid for everything. It's all prepaid. I said, you're 40. Are you sick? No, I'm feeling really good now that that's done. I said, really? So what did you pay for your burial? $3,000. And no matter how much it goes up, it's covered. I said, well, I guess so. $3,000 at 40 years old. Do you know, actuarially speaking, life insurance table speaking, if you make it to 40 years old, you are very, very, very likely to make it to about 80 years old. You're pretty likely to make it to 90, but we'll use 80 as an example. So if you'd taken $3,000 and put it in a mutual fund from age 40 to age 80, do you realize you'd have $355,000 in your account to bury you? Who are you, King Tut? Never prepay burial. Now, it's okay to prearrange and pre-plan, pre-select, but don't pay them until it's time to pay them. Let your money grow where it's going to give you a good rate of return. And now there's another group of people that doesn't like me, the people that sell that. Oh, well, I'll have to just worry. Mortgage life insurance. Life insurance that pays off your mortgage if you die. Now, the only time you'd ever buy that is if you are sick and can't get life insurance. A lot of those policies you can get regardless. And so if you're uninsurable, this is a way to get some insurance sometimes, but it is about 10 or 15 times more than term insurance. And all it is term insurance. It's decreasing term, isn't it? Because your term, you know, as your balance goes down on your mortgage, your coverage is going down because it only pays off the mortgage, right? So you're paying, it's decreasing term policy. They used to sell in the insurance business, decreasing term insurance. And all this is decreasing term insurance. And it's 10 times more expensive than the same amount of term insurance. Why? Because it's very emotional to pay off the mortgage. At least the mortgage is taken care of. If I die, at least she's got that covered. Well, for what you'd have bought that, you know, to cover that $100,000 mortgage, you could have bought a $1 million policy. And at least you'd have been covered. Think. Okay, it's a gimmick. They're tying into emotion. These guys are great emotional sellers, and never buy any kind of duplicate coverage. Now, especially that's in the health insurance world. Lots of people have health coverage at work, and they're a little bit worried, so they got health insurance out here. Now, what you'll get is you got two health insurance plans, and none of your bills will get paid. You know why neither one will get paid? Because they fight with each other to argue about who's the primary coverage company. Primary coverage has to pay it, and one says, you are. The other one says, no, you are. No, you are. And they argue, and none of your bills get paid. And you were paying for extra insurance that you didn't need. So don't buy duplicate coverage. It has the reverse effect of what you wanted. So we're saying there are good kinds of insurance. There are times to transfer risk. Homeowners and renters insurance, auto insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, identity theft protection, and term life insurance, 15 to 20-year level term life insurance, about 10 times your income. If you'll do this, you've got the umbrella to protect your wealth. That's what insurance is for. Let it work for you, not for them. Make sure you understand what you're doing, and you'll save a ton of money. Thanks.
Have you ever been in a car wreck or had a friend that tore up their car? It's kind of a whack day, isn't it? Your heart rate changes, everything. That's when you know that while insurance may not be the most exciting lesson, hopefully you picked up a few things here that could make that exciting day a little less exciting. If you have a car, you've got to carry auto insurance. And you can save money by raising your deductible. Renter's insurance is a must if you live in a dorm or rent an apartment. Another must is health insurance. Identity theft is on the rise, and be careful with your personal information.